guys. I'm Jessica Gottlieb. And these are my friends. This is my tribe. And I want to just go ahead. I'm going to introduce just kind of from the top left here, we have Lindsay.
Hi, everyone.
I have such a hard time pronouncing last names. So Lindsay's the founder of LTM Digital. It's a digital marketing and social media firm. But really what it's about, what our tribe is about our experience blogging. And she is a blogger first at Fit and Awesome and covers, sort of a fit and healthy lifestyle, but mostly she has an insanely cute kid. And so I'm just tuned in for kid pictures over there.
And dog.
And dog.
Dog.
I like dogs. I love kids. You can follow her on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, Pinterest at LT Surf. But I think that that's pretty much linked to if you click on the profiles here online. Oh. Down below Lindsay, we've got Chris Lamb, the Chris Lamb, basically on all social channels, right, Chris?
Yes.
And she has whatiruninto.com, which is like the perfect sort of lifestyle place to hang out because she runs into really cool stuff in and around LA. And also you have to follow her on Snapchat. Her Snapchat is so great. And
that's
her
at
kid,
Run Fat Chris.
Run Fat Chris, which is weird because Chris is not fat. Okay.
I'm going to just show you the fat right here.
Oh my God.
I am not impressed. Her daughter is obsessed with cleaning the house, and it might be the greatest thing ever. And she's a serial trespasser. So you will get serial trespassing snaps. And I should add that she is almost 2 years old. So, yes. So it's not, I don't think it's an arrestable offense just yet, but we're coming up on it. So AJ is my husband's singing partner.
Oh my God.
You can always find my husband on the sofa with a guitar. And if you get lucky, AJ will pop over and sing with him. And she has an amazing, amazing voice.
I did not include that in my bio, Jessica Gottlieb.
No, you did not. But you should be so lucky. So she's AJ Feuerman on Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. Again, it shows up right here. And I think that you see a trend of us being really consistent about our usernames, across multiple platforms. She's been a blogger for a decade, and she's the head of PR and social media for a independent film distributor. And has recently a very funny video. I'm going to dig it up and share it here on the sidebar, where one of her hosts interviewed their dog on the red carpet, and it was kind of awesome. So it's fun. It's always a fun excuse to be able to throw around bitch and have it be completely appropriate,
Yes.
For a little female Maltese. AJ, can you start us out and just talk a little bit about how we became a tribe?
Sure. I mean, the first thing I do want to say is there's 4 of us here today. Our blog is actually 9 people large right now.
A tribe, yeah.
Yeah. Obviously this chat lab only accommodates 4 of us. But what am I doing? Why we started the tribe? Well, we were in a bunch of groups that were filled with literally hundreds of bloggers, and we just wanted something more intimate, something where we could genuinely just swap wisdom and advice, and really, for me personally, I find, and I kind of don't care how this sounds, for me personally, in those larger groups, there's a lot of clutter, oh, my mother-in-law's in town, where do I take her for dinner? And, oh, my kid had a thing at school today. And for me personally, selfishly, it was about wanting to get together with like-minded women that I personally trusted. And I don't want to hear about some stranger's mother-in-law, to be totally honest. So I was talking with Chris one day, and we were joking that we should set up a secret society and only
Like
let
the
in the cool
skulls.
kids, like the skulls. Yeah.
And we've done a great job of being secret because here we are.
Yeah, it's still a secret, clearly. But yeah, and it just kind of grew out of that joking notion that we should have a secret society. Lo and behold, tribes were actually a thing, but it was me and Chris and our friend Xenia, who I think is watching.
She's right here on the side.
Yeah, there she is.
Yeah.
And
raised
then
culture everywhere
Yes.
on social.
And then it grew into us asking more people, and we grew to 10, and now we're at 9 because somebody needed to just take a hiatus from social media.
But not necessarily just from us, from all of social media.
No,
we didn't do anything bad.
So yeah, and it's been really good. It was originally, like, I guess I'm the admin, so originally it was about blogging only and social media only, and we've gotten a little bit more into our personal lives as time has gone on, but it's still pretty much a tribe of, the one thing we all have in common is that we're bloggers and we like each other. And what else do you need?
Lindsay, can you elaborate? Because so the tribe did expand from the original group of them, and I was very coyly, AJ was like, well, if I had this group. So Lindsay, can you talk a little bit more about the expansion past the original 3 or 4?
Yeah, so I mean, like AJ said, we were all in these other groups, and there's hundreds and hundreds of bloggers in them, and I think what happens in those groups is you find these people that are saying things and you're like, oh, I totally agree with that person, or I would be friends with that person in real life. Like, I like what they have to say and stuff. So, AJ and Chris and I had really kind of gravitated towards each other and, kind of backed each other up. And, if we saw something that we didn't like, we're like, well, we don't have to deal with that. We could just start our own group. And then I think that was kind of how I got inducted into the tribe, and and it went from there.
And Chris, do you want to get us started on why you want to be part of a tribe?
Well, you know what? For those of you who don't know what I do on my day job, it's.
I apologize. I did a bad intro.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? I left the corporate office 9-to-5 job about 3 years ago, and so I've been working on my own. So the reason why I wanted a business tribe was because I don't have cubicle walls anymore. I don't go to work anymore. I roll out and I'm at my desk, and that's basically, I'm brushing my teeth and I'm tweeting for someone. That's all I'm doing. So that's why I wanted a business tribe, because I didn't have anybody physically in my house, next to me working together. Instead, we created one that's virtual.
And then let's talk about AJ. There's some rules that we created.
Yes.
I just want to add that I think that AJ has a really tough job in being an admin, because being an admin on a group of hundreds of people is a pretty anonymous thing, and being an admin with a group of 9 of your friends is can risk
I'm afraid
a friendship. You're afraid, right? Because and I'm going to go ahead and go like on the record and say that I'm a complete jackass online, and so. AJ's more than once had to kind of nicely, spank me and be like, hey, remember our rules and stuff. Yeah. So let's talk about the development of the rules and how that keeps this tribe productive.
Troll the admin.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I that was really important to me is, and this is because I didn't know at the time what the tribe was going to become. I didn't know if we'd end up being a bigger thing, if we would end up working with brands. I really had no concept of what it was going to be at first. So my first rule was that it was to discuss blogging and social media business only. because I wanted it to stay professional. And like I said earlier, we've kind of deviated from that a little bit because, you know, we've become friends and it's easier. It's not such a big deal to like divulge things about our personal lives. But at first it was business only. The other thing that we still try to keep to this is we do talk about other bloggers or social media practitioners in the context of learning from best practices and not so best practices, but we don't use names. And that's just because I don't want us to ever feel like we're talking about someone behind someone's back. And I don't want anyone to ever find out we're talking about them behind their backs. And I just don't want us to turn into a group of mean girls, quite frankly. Nobody wants that. It's not nice. And the last rule that eventually came, this was not an original rule, but just something I thought would be nice because we were growing in the beginning, was if someone wants to join our tribe, everybody has to agree. And that's purely because, God forbid, you know, let's say like when I want, you know, Sam Smith, I don't know why I just picked an arbitrary British singer. Panda. If I want a Panda to join and secretly Lindsay has some kind of conflict going on with the Panda, I don't, even though Jessica and Chris might be best friends with Panda, I don't want anyone to be uncomfortable because the tribe has come to mean a lot to us. So the rule is everybody approves of the new member or they are not invited. And that's just the way that is. And the other rule I have personally, because this just works for us as a group, is to keep it small. Like 10 is pretty much my max. Like personally, I think unless there was someone we met that we just really thought we would benefit from working with, I really do want to keep it small. I don't, even though the anonymity would be nice, like Jessica said, I don't want to admin a group of hundreds of women or women and men for that matter. And it's funny that we're all women, but that wasn't a rule.
It wasn't?
No, it was never. I mean, I would consider adding a guy, but I just never came up. So I like men.
There must not be any men working in social media.
Yeah, no. And then Eric.
Can
Eric
I add about
like at the top of my screen
about the number of people and also the rules? I think that's really, really important as the foundation of a tribe. It doesn't matter if it's a blogger tribe or a business tribe or whatever tribe you decide. I think having everyone remember the rules and just kind of regularly say, look, you know, this is about business. This is not about mean girls, like AJ said. You know, we're not going to talk, you know, crap about someone. We're talking about how, you know, let's say there was a blogger or even, you know, a client, right? We're talking because a lot of us are consultants. There was a client that, you know, did X, Y, and Z. Okay, how that something happened. There was a crisis, whatever. How did we learn from this? There's a reason why.
Right.
You know, I mean, there's got to be some sort of learning, a learning, right? With a post that we rewrite on our Facebook group. You know, it's not going to be just, you know, oh, I've had a bad day, blah, blah, blah. No. Okay. You've had a bad day. What? So tell me a solution, you know, let's resolve this.
Right.
You know, there's no like just crapping on someone or crapping on the wall. It's not a bee fest, you know, it's just
a coffee clutch.
Right. It's definitely not mean girls. And I personally appreciate when AJ says, look, you know what, this is nothing to do with blogging. So why do we even have it on the wall? I'm deleting it. And that's great, you know, because again, you know, you're focused. You're very, very focused on exactly what this tribe is going to do for you and what you're bringing to the table.
Yeah. And just to add to that too, I think we all have a mutual respect for AJ as the admin. And we know that it's probably hard to keep us in line. You know, because sometimes we just, you know, we get, you know, just.
I'm so embarrassed.
We get fired up and we say something and she's got that job of keeping us in line, but we all respect, you know, we know that that's hard, but we also know that it's important to have someone to do that because we do want to keep each other in check and we do want to make this beneficial and we want to make it really focused on business. And, you know, I really appreciate the group because like Chris, I work from home. And one of the things that I really miss about a corporate environment is being able to walk up to people's desks and just run an idea by them or like, you know, hey, what do you think about this? Or how about this? And our tribe has really become that place for me, where if I'm thinking about something, you know, and I need to get people's advice who I value, I go to our group and, you know, I get that advice that I'm looking for. And it's so invaluable to me. And really, it's been a place for us every day that we come and talk to each other about these things.
I also really like it because I'm a publicist, and I pitch bloggers as much as I am a blogger. And for me, a lot of times I'll pop into the group and be like, hey guys, I pitched you X, Y, and Z. Would you laugh at me, or would you be interested? Or do you think bloggers would go for this? So it's also been, you know, aside from my professional blogging life, it's been really super helpful in my professional life. So for lack of a better term. So that's great too.
Let's just talk real quickly about the makeup of our tribe. Any one of you guys can grab this, because somebody was asking in the sidebar, you know, should you all be the same thing? And I would say that our strength is in that we don't have a huge overlap in what we do.
No, I mean, the only commonality I quote unquote required was that we all have a blog.
Mm-hmm.
But we're freelancers, we're corporate whores, excuse the word, we're I think a couple of us
having a roof over my head. So
a couple of us are full-time bloggers, like for a living.
Mm-hmm.
That's all they do. There's like I said, some of us are moms and some of us are not. We all live in different places. We're not all white, which was granted not on purpose, but is a lovely thing that we're diverse culturally. Why not?
Yeah.
No.
And age.
We're very mixed. And age. Yeah, we're very varied in age too.
Thanks, guys.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
Well, there's certain other folks that make me feel super old.
Great.
Yeah.
Yeah, we do. But I would say that we're brought together by having some pretty similar passions. We also have some here's what's been interesting. Have we discussed politics with
no, because I won't let you.
Oh, really? Oh, that's a rule?
Maybe I've never said it out loud, but I have always tried not to bring politics or religion into our group.
Not in the group.
I think that's a bad idea.
Who knew? I'm glad.
But I will say out loud that if I found out any of you were voting for Donald Trump, I'd totally kick you out of the group.
I'm trying to keep America great, okay?
We are making America great again.
Yeah.
We do. We'll get there.
Yeah, I see a lot of questions, and we're going to answer everything you guys are asking. We have it.
Okay, so no politics. I do want to pop over though, you know, back to one of the questions, because we're kind of there. Have you had to kick anyone out before me? Because we haven't had any issues. Oh, you did.
No. Did I ever kick anyone out? No, I've never kicked anyone out.
Oh, because I was
in
the group, so I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I've never kicked anyone out. The only thing is sometimes, every now and then, look, people have emotions. Every now and then, someone will start to get a little much, and I've had to like privately say, hey, look, like tone it down. Or there's only been a couple instances where someone wanted to invite someone to the group, and someone privately messaged me and said, hey, that person and I don't get along, and it would make me really uncomfortable. So I've just not invited them, and that's just the way it is. So, but I've never had to kick anyone out. No.
So, so for the person who asked that, sorry, because it scrolled up the page, I think that part of not having had to kick anyone out is that 100% of the people want that person in, so that creates a really good filtering process. Mm-hmm. And B, having a small group.
Yeah.
Because
and I think
we behave better in small groups than large ones, I think.
Yeah. And I also think, I don't know, do you guys think it helps that we have become, I think we've become genuine friends too. We all hang out in person as well. And I think you guys agree. I think that helps too. Like if I had to face Lindsay in person, having kicked her out of the group. It would be incredibly awkward.
Well, and I think that's also a great point, AJ, is, you know, when I first joined the group, I didn't really know any of you that well, you know, IRL, right, in real life. We just kind of connected through blogging, and now I would say that you are all like, you know, you're my people. Like, you know, I really cherish the time that we get to spend together, and we've all become close, and I really value that.
Yeah, we were all at Chris's daughter's first birthday.
I should have brought the big head.
Oh, that would have been awesome.
Sorry.
And we are almost all in Southern California. So we do find ourselves, you know, in some of the same events. Now, our particular group exists on Facebook. What other kind of tribes do you guys belong to besides ours? And do they exist on Facebook or other places?
Lindsay?
Yeah, so I also run another Facebook group that's for health and fitness bloggers, because that's the area that I blog about. And the reason I started that tribe, and it's actually called Fitness Blog Tribe. If anyone is interested in joining and blogs about health and fitness, you can search it in Facebook groups or message me and I can send you the link. But the goal of that group was to really cover more advanced topics on blogging in the health and fitness arena. I just saw a need there that wasn't being fulfilled. So I just said, let's just start this group. And Chris is a member, and we have a couple different admins, and that's been a great place too. So that's another group that I belong to.
Chris, what about you?
Okay, so this is going to probably, you know, you guys are gonna be like, oh my God, what is she talking about? She's like talking about the Avon people. So I admin a multi-level marketing business tribe, and it's a very small tribe. We all sell different things. This is on the side, just, we're not even gonna talk about that stuff, but we sell different, we're all in different companies. So we have a person who works with LuLaRoe, we have a person who works with Rodan and Fields, another person who works with Avon, another one that works with Sensi, and there's only like 5 of us, and we're keeping it, just like AJ, we're keeping it very, very small, and we're just trying to see if we have any best practices that we can share with other MLM groups, you know, because, you know, if you're familiar with MLM groups, you know, usually their tribes are by themselves. So all the Avon people hang out with the Avon people, right? All the LuLaRoe people hang out with the LuLaRoe people. So I found a couple of folks that, you know, one introduced the other and we ended up becoming a small tribe on Facebook, secret group, and we just basically just post every week, just saying, hey, how's everyone doing? You know, was there a best practice so did something happen this week that helped you? I don't know, either pick up a sale, or, you know, just talk about, you know, your business, and then, you know, we'll just share best practices.
Yeah, and I would also, I think I don't know how, like, I don't know what better tool there is other than Facebook groups for an online existence of a tribe. I will say I am in a completely non-professional tribe. I'm in a brunch club. I happen to really, really, in a very unhealthy way, love brunch. And I'm in a quote unquote tribe / club called Brunch Club. And once a month, we all pick a place and we go. And that's just something, I don't know if that would be considered a tribe, but it's certainly exclusive to a certain amount of people. And it is something we do every month. And we do have kind of just a massive email thread we're all on that we back and forth with. So that's how we all correspond with each other. But that's not, you know, that's another example of a group that corresponds on a regular basis.
I've got one more for you. So this has nothing to do with Facebook secret groups. You know, I'm also in a business tribe where other folks are also my peers. They're mostly consultants. Some of them are in agency life. Some of them are PR folks, or, you know, they're in digital media. And this is actually an email thread. So whenever I need help, I'll send an email out to these 9 or 10 people. AJ, Lindsay, Jessica, usually on that list as well. But in addition to the 3 of these guys, I also have, you know, 6 other folks that that are not just in social media, but they're in, you know, different types of PR. And I'll just post a question saying, hey, you know, I need some help here. You know, I've got a client who's, you know, it's a restaurant client. What do I do with this? You know, if they've got a recommendation on a web developer, you know, that they like, I would love to have their recommendation. So I email, and this is just through email. And again, it's pretty much stays the same with about, you know, 9 to 10 people.
Yeah, I mean, I'm also in a PR group. I'm in a group of publicists, and frankly, the thing we talk about the most is how to work with bloggers. So there's that also, and that's on Facebook.
I just wanted to throw in here. So we got somebody asking, you know, if we would ever bring in, you know, a guest speaker to talk to our group. And so
that's good. That's a great idea.
Yeah.
But I was, oh, really? Because I was thinking, gosh, AJ and I are both like, no, you know, between the 9 of us, we have basically like a century of information about working exclusively online. And like we invented our jobs out of the infirma, particularly bloggers. And so I guess I'd like to talk about, like, why don't you start, Lindsay? I've learned some extraordinarily important things from you guys that have nothing to do with anything I would learn at a conference or from speakers. I didn't know that Black Twitter existed.
Oh my God.
Your group. I knew that there were Black people on Twitter. I didn't know that there was a phrase called Black Twitter. So can we just like talk about one of the random things that we learned in our group that we never would have been exposed to had it been somebody preaching to us on a podium kind of thing?
Yeah, for me, I would say, you know, I'm a new mom. I guess not new anymore. My daughter's 18 months old. But one of the things that I learned about in our group was about Mom 2.0 Summit. And that was something that it was never on my radar because I wasn't a mom, and I'd never think, oh, I'm going to go to this conference. I don't really consider myself a mom blogger. But then again, I'm a blogger and I am a mom. So maybe this is the right fit for me. And I got a lot of really great feedback from the group about what a wonderful conference it was. And, you know, a lot of the conferences that I've gone to in the past, I didn't really feel like, you know, there was a lot of in-depth information, and I had heard, oh, well, this is one where you'll really get a lot more out of it. So that was something where I don't think I would have ever taken the plunge and bought a ticket and gone down to that event had it not been for our group. And Xenia, I'm looking at you because you were definitely a big part of that. So thank you.
Yeah, agree. I'm trying to read the comments as well.
I know. Yeah, me too.
Okay, I got the comment.
Hey, Serena. I see Serena.
Okay. Sorry, your question was, what have I learned, right?
Yeah, that wouldn't have happened because I think that we've all done a lot of learning that's very different with a small group dynamic. We trust the integrity and the wisdom of 100% of the women in this group. That is a strange thing to have happen.
So, you know what I've learned is to be a lot more, personally, a lot more open to things because, you know, usually you know, my background is in food and travel and hospitality and entertainment and social media. And, you know, just hearing about mom bloggers, because, you know, yes, like Lindsay, I'm a mom, I'm a blogger. I'm not really a mom blogger, but I guess I am. I don't know. Anyways, just learning about other mom blogs from our tribe, you know, and what they're doing and, you know, things that they're invited to kind of reminds me, oh yeah, there's an entire population that may or may not work for my client, you know, and if it doesn't, it's fine. Because sometimes I get clients where they're just like, we need to get the mom bloggers. And I'm just like, like, why? Like,
why? Yeah.
Maybe we should go with lifestyle. Right. They're not one group because mom bloggers themselves, you know, they've got their own, everyone has their niche, right? You know, you've got folks that do deals, right? Kid deals, you know, mom clothing deals, and then they do trips. So they've got travel mom bloggers, you know, so just remember, I have to remember each niche isn't just one niche. It's a niche, and then there are sub niches under that, right? And so I think this group has just told me, you know, look, we can, yes, one person in our group can be a mom blogger, and she is also a lifestyle blogger. She's an influencer on Snapchat, you know, and she works on video and Vimeo. You know, that's totally different from YouTube. And so that's really, you know, that kind of reminds me, okay, she does other things besides this one thing. And, you know, we have one that does theme parks, you know. Well, I never knew that there were family bloggers that just focused on theme parks.
Laser focused.
Laser focused.
Hey, AJ, can we do a quick recap on how you would start, like maybe like a few action points, how you would start a tribe, and how would you discover or start one if you were new to blogging and hadn't really, you know, you weren't really sure about who, you know, the experts were or the people were, or.
Sure. I think that's a really good question. Well, okay, so how to start one? I mean, anyone who has a Facebook account can create a Facebook group, right? So, I mean, just basic brass tacks. I think that, you know, how to start one, like literally how to start one is, I would create a Facebook group, or, you know, or maybe there's a tool you prefer more than that, but, and, you know, start talking to people. Say, I'm going to start a tribe, or someone else was saying I think it's the same thing. Someone asked if it was different, a mastermind group or a club or whatever you want to call it. They're all euphemisms, right? They're all synonyms. And go to the people you like, go to your friends. Maybe your tribe is not about blogging. Maybe it's just, maybe you have something else in common. Maybe you all like to knit. I don't know. And start a tribe that way. Maybe you all like to, I mean, this is Tech Munch, right? So maybe you all like to Instagram your food. Maybe you all like to Snapchat your restaurant experiences. Maybe that's your commonality. I would look for like-minded people, and I would decide what your rules are going to be. Just because our rules are what they are doesn't mean that's going to be what yours are. Maybe you want 25 people. Maybe you only want 5. I'm in another tribe that's only 4. So, you know, I think you just have to like sit down with yourself and decide what your rules are going to be, right? How to find one if you're not in one? That's a really good question. I don't know. No one can find ours because it's a secret group on Facebook. So, and quite frankly, we wouldn't, unless we knew you personally, we wouldn't be inclined to let you in. So just being honest. So I'm not sure. Does anyone else have any thoughts on that? How do you, and then, by the way, that's not like an elitist thing per se. It's just because that's just those were the rules we determined at the beginning. But does anyone else have any ideas? I don't know where you find tribe.
I could jump in and add something here. So Facebook groups is a really great resource. So like I'm in a group for Pinterest boards and learning different tips and tricks on Pinterest. And I'm also in a group for food photography, where people actually post photos of their food and say, hey, what do you think? Do you have any suggestions or things like that? So there literally is a Facebook group for so many different things. So I would say start by doing a search.
Got good advice in the column over here too.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was just going to say, Serena, right on. What I was going to say is that's how we started. You know, we were in a larger group and we all connected with each other and kind of found like that we were just like, you know, all kind of gravitating towards each other. So then we broke out and started our own group, right? So if you start in those larger groups and you find people that you connect with, then you can start, you know, your own tribe on a smaller basis and grow from there and decide what you want to do with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I think the reason why we also started this group was because we weren't bloggers, we weren't new bloggers. And that's part of the reason why, you know, we kind of all gravitated to each other, because we already knew how to set up a WordPress blog, you know, or something like that. We wanted to talk a little bit more advanced SEO, or we wanted to talk a little bit about, you know, Twitter ad campaigns or Facebook ad campaigns, and, you know, setting up pixels versus just, you know, hey, can you help me with, you know, my domain name? So we wanted to kind of just keep it pretty advanced, or advanced for us, I guess. Sorry, because some people are even more advanced.
Right. We might be Luddites to someone else.
Pretty much.
Well, you guys totally, I mean, I have a blog on TypePad, confessionsofafatgirl.net, and I'm one of the last people, I think, on TypePad at this point. But you guys were the reason that I started ajfeuerman.com on WordPress, and you guys got me through that. Like, WordPress was, for some reason, very hard for me to learn, and you guys totally got me through that. And I just started another new blog because I don't have enough on my plate, and I did that one on WordPress too, and you guys helped me get that one up. So, you know, that was great. Anyway, just throwing that in there.
What's the biggest kind of public group that you belong to that people might be interested in?
Let me look.
I know, well, all four of us are in Social Media Club LA's Facebook group, which is thousands of people big.
Close to 4,000.
Is it really?
Yeah. Wow. And that group, by the way, is, I mean, there's other admins on the group, but that group is basically administrated by one person, so that's insane. But that's probably the biggest group I'm in. That one.
That's
I don't
helpful.
know if I would call that. Yeah, that's helpful. Yeah, absolutely. That group is, if anyone is looking for social media best practices, that's an excellent one to be in. And I'll drop the link in, actually, if I can grab that real quick.
Yeah, and you know, one group that I'm in that's not specific to blogging, and this was something that actually introduced me to when I was pregnant with my daughter, was, hey, there are a lot of really great resources for moms on Facebook. So she added me to a first-time mom group and a couple different groups around LA, and I think that mom group is around 40,000 people now, something around there,
and growing.
And it was such a great resource for me when, you know, just during my pregnancy and when I had my daughter, just being able to go and ask things. And, you know, these are things that I may not be comfortable sharing with someone on my public Facebook feed, or people would be like, Lindsay, why are you saying that? You know, but if I go to this group and I ask these questions, that's a relevant place to ask that question, right? So it's been really valuable to me. So I think that Facebook groups, you know, even if you're not using them for business, you can use them for other things, and they can also be really valuable for just anything going on in your personal life too.
Yeah. I was going to say that mom group is probably the biggest group that I'm in, and you know, it's kind of a social group a little bit, but I mean, these are moms that are they're all first-time moms and new moms and pregnant moms who they live everywhere. I mean, not just in the US, they're in Canada, they're all over the place. I mean, they're just, and the only way you can get in is it's a referral, and there's this unspoken rule. You never, you just don't. You keep everything in that group. You don't, you know, divulge anything if you know somebody else. Because I've got, which is hilarious, I've got a cousin-in-law who's actually in that group as well, and I don't ever tell her anything about that group in person. Like we're just online, and that's basically it. She's got problems with her, you know, whatever, her body or, you know, baby, it stays there. I don't pull her aside and say, hey, you know, I saw that on our Facebook group. You know, everything is in that group. We don't talk about it in person.
Interesting.
Is there anything that we haven't covered, ladies?
I assume you're looking at our notes.
I'm looking at notes here. Name your group.
Oh, yeah. Well,
you don't.
We have a name for our group, but we don't tell anyone what it is.
Right.
So I think that's just added. That's just something fun for us. Yeah. I mean, you can name your group and you can decide yourself if you're going to tell people what it's called. But we decided just for fun, because again, this was born out of Chris and I having a joke that we should have a secret society. So we decided to name our group something funny, and we don't tell anyone what it is.
Although I did,
racist.
I did tell.
It's not racist. It's not offensive. It's not offensive. It's just funny, and it's funny to us. You guys sent me flowers at my office once, and you signed it from the group name, and my boss was like, "What the hell is that?" Like, it was really funny.
Oh yeah,
that was pretty awesome.
And then yeah, I feel like we've kind of covered
Have we covered
our
anything
group
about
stuff here.
like differing opinions
let's
about
talk
stuff?
let's talk about the pros and cons. I mean,
Yeah, we didn't
there,
cover that yet.
yeah, I think we've made it really clear what the pros are of being in a tribe, right? I mean, they're and being in other groups, it's hugely beneficial. These women have become my confidants, right? Like I go to, I was coming home from something the other night and having kind of a crappy day, so I went to Jessica's house just to play with her cat. Like this is this is what we do. But the benefits trickle into our personal lives now as much as our blogging lives. But I think there's probably some cons too, and not cons that would drive me out of the group, but there's definitely challenges. Like, what do you guys think? When someone's being negative, it's a challenge to like kind of, it's kind of hard to pull someone aside and say, hey, enough with the like Debbie Downer crap. Like, you're dragging all of us down, get your shit together. Like, excuse my language. That's always hard.
Well, and I'll tell you what, I've been on the receiving end of that. Two tribe members fight and can't realign. We haven't had that happen, but I have been on the receiving end of that, and I have gotten a really respectful, this is why AJ's good at PR, like that was like, hey, you're kind of, the tone. And it's interesting because we all do this on social media, and if you have one human being in your life that will pull you aside and say, look at your thread, they might save your career, because people do get into their own spirals and stuff, and you don't really realize it. And I would encourage everybody to periodically click on their Facebook wall, your own, and see yourself how other people see it, or click on your own Twitter stream and see yourself how other people see it. And hopefully you're like thrilled, but periodically I think we all gasp and go, oh, I didn't know that I did that.
I also have, we have our group rules, right? And I also have them, I have them on a JPEG, like a graphic, and every now and then I will passive aggressively pin them to the top of the group, just as like a, hey guys, don't forget we have rules. So
yeah. Oh, AJ, I think also, it's testament to how you run the group is, and I think this goes for anybody who decides they would like to start a group, either on Facebook or, Slack even. I think you really...
Oh, what's Slack?
It's like chatting, kind of like Basecamp, but a little bit more fun. Kind of like Basecamp. I think, some of you guys might know this. But I think it's a testament to you where, yeah, you do have the rules up, and I'm gonna, this is a compliment, right? You rule with an iron fist, because if you don't do it, it becomes a runaway train, and then we just start, and we've done it before, where someone might say, oh my God, this person just makes me so mad, and then everyone else layers on top of that. Oh yeah, we hate this person, blah blah blah. We don't like the way this person works his whatever. And then we realize, oh, we just broke a rule, and it's good to just say, hey, I'm the admin. We're gonna go back to looking at the rules, and we're gonna stop this. We're just gonna stop.
Yeah.
Also, let me just do a quick question here. I think that one of the reasons that our tribe has been so successful is that we're not dropping in our own links and asking.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can we talk about that, about where and when is an appropriate time to share your own content?
Well, I mean, I think for me, you're all my friends on Facebook, so you're going to see that stuff when I share it, right? And you probably know the behind the scenes story about it anyway. So, our group, like, it is not a place for promotional links. And, I remember one time last year, I was like really excited because I did this video with Verizon and I posted in the group, and it's just like, no, and I was like, oh yeah, wait, this is not the place for that. Like, you have to remember sometimes, but sometimes you get excited and you want to share those things. But really what I found is that, you are all my friends, and, you're seeing what's going on my Facebook feed anyway. So I'm going to share those things in those places, and our group is not the time and the place for those things. But however, if I have a question about the behind the scenes, like, hey, I'm not sure if I should, say this, or I'm negotiating a rate for this. Those are the questions, and this is the place where I do those things. Did we lose Chris?
We lost Chris. When she comes, I'm sure she'll come back.
Oh, there she is.
Okay. I think we got her.
Yeah.
There we go. AJ? Chris, we lost you. Did you hear the question?
I did not.
Talking about like where the appropriate place is to like drop links.
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. The one thing we did do, and I think you guys might have forgotten about this because people don't take advantage of it anymore. There was a big demand in our group for an opportunity to occasionally post links or bitch about things that weren't necessarily blog related. So at one point we had a rule where on the last day of every month, you could post whatever you wanted in the group. And links, or you could bitch about something that wasn't necessarily blogging related. And that was kind of earlier on when the group was really, really hyper focused on blogging and social media. I think as time has gone on and we've all become closer friends, we don't need that rule because I've loosened the reins a little on what can be posted and what not. But I never wanted the group to be about self-promotion. That's not to say there are definitely groups out there that are link sharing groups. There are blogger groups out there where they're like, I'm probably in a couple of these groups where it's like, hey guys, I could use some comments on this post. There are definitely groups for that. That's just not what we wanted to do. But I think that those groups are too. And I think those exist. And I would go through Facebook groups and definitely look for those. They're out there if you want them. And I see Serena's asking about that too. Yeah, I think that link share groups are great. I think they're totally beneficial. It's just not.
How are they beneficial? Because I think not understood that.
I mean, I guess they're beneficial if you want to share your content and you want people to look at it. Or if you want advice.
Are people looking at it, do you think, that are in those groups? Or are they just clicking?
I don't know. That's a whole other conversation.
I look at them. I literally, I click out and I'll read that post, and I will try and comment if I've got something to say, to help. I think it also helps that blogger, pick up some views and just to say, hey, you know what? I've looked at it. I'm not just like copying and pasting a standard comment like, oh yeah, great post. I'm spending the time to do this. So I'm hoping that if I'm in this group, someone else is going to do the same for me.
That's great. So what kind of groups bring about, like what kind of tribes bring about that behavior? Because that's not kind of been my experience with link sharing groups. I've popped in and I've thought, oh, well, that's not very useful. So where are they useful?
So
where's the value?
I'm in a group. It's a fitness blogging group. It's not the group that I run, but it's a different one. And it's called, I think it's like Fitness Blogging Support. I'm not really sure of the name. If anyone's interested, they could ask me for it. But they have different threads each day where one is, comment on a blog post. And everyone who leaves a link is making the commitment to read and comment on everyone else's post. And then you have to write done at the end of it. And if you don't follow the rules, just like we have rules, that particular group's rules. If you don't follow the rules, you get kicked out, right? So, so they have, you have to comment on a blog post or Pinterest, you repin pins, tweet, comments on Facebook. So they have all different threads. I think there's 5 or 6 that go every day. And that's one of the core purposes of that group. So that everyone's making that commitment. And sometimes I go in there if I have a post that I really want to get more comments or more love to, I'll drop a link to my blog post, but then I know that I'm committing to read 10 or 15 other posts as well.
Okay, you guys, I feel like we've covered pretty extensively building a tribe, maintaining a tribe, the value of a tribe, the value of a small tribe, some of the larger ones. And so I'm going to go ahead and just thank everyone for being here.
Does anyone have any more questions?
I'm not seeing any questions that we haven't answered. Somebody asked how bloggers can use tribes to get organized. I'm sure that I think Chris touched on having accountability with her MLM tribe, but I'm not sure that we do that.
Hierarchy.
Ooh, that's good.
I mean, I think that's up to anybody. That's going to be different depending on said tribe. In our tribe, not to sound self-serving, but I will. It's technically mine. Like I created it. I'm the whole admin of our group. I've actually thought about making someone else a co-admin, but I think our group is so small that it would actually be counterproductive. But I think if you've got like a much larger group, like I don't know if anyone's in I don't know if there's a difference between a group and a tribe, but for example, there's a group called SoCal Lady Bloggers that is hundreds of women who blog and live in Southern California, and I think that group has a few admins, you know. So I think it just depends. I think you just have to but I do think it's smart to establish that from the get-go, like who's going to be in charge, who's going to be the one who holds it together when the shit hits the fan.
Yeah, and just to add to that, for the fitness group that I run, the Fitness Blog Tribe, I started out as the original admin, and I found that I couldn't keep up with everything. So I had people actually step up and say, hey, do you want help managing this? And I said yes. And so I have one person who actually every couple days she'll post a thread that's drop a link to your latest blog, because we do that in Fitness Blog Tribe, but it's not mandatory that people read the links. So she posts that, and then we have another admin who also is answering questions, and she's throwing out more advanced questions to the group and sharing knowledge and sharing learning. So just want to give a shout out to those two. That's Joanna and Smitha.
Mm-hmm.
Hey guys, I'm going to post links to some blogging groups in the sidebar for people who are asking.
The names of the SoCal blogger groups, yeah,
I can do that too.
I don't know. I'm very not.
There's also like a SoCal foodies group for food.
But I think too that once you dive into one, that the public group starts showing up on your feed, like you might enjoy,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I actually just recently went through and left a bunch of groups because I was in too many, so I don't have a ton of links handy. But yeah. The other thing for those who may not know, and I'm about to post this. This is a link to just Facebook groups in general. So for those who aren't aware, that's what I just put in the sidebar. That's where you go to discover groups that you aren't creating yourself. Like it'll show you what groups your friends are in. It'll show you groups that are local. It'll show you, it breaks it down. So if you're looking for more groups to join, that's the general link. I don't know if a lot of people realize it's there.
And it does have, Xenia was noting that most conferences have their own groups too.
Oh yeah.
And there's a lot of information to be gained, even if you can't get to a conference. You can get it from their Facebook groups quite often, much the way we used to be able to get it from Twitter feeds.
Isn't there a Tech Munch Facebook group too?
Mm-hmm.
I believe there is.
Yes, we should drop the link in there. Try and find it.
Right. I feel like Tech Munch might do that for us.
Yeah.
Listen to a YouTube video. Sits Girls is very valuable for like review bloggers, especially, it seems like.
There it is.
There's the Tech Munch. Okay, gang, I'm going to go ahead and call this. Thank you so much.
Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Happy Saturday.
All right.
Good to see you.